So welcome back everybody to Chrissy and Tommy's Adventures. So today we're on the Virgin Voyages Valiant Lady. We're in the galley and this right here is hot off the press. Right around the corner here is Noodle Around where you can get some hot ramen throughout the day. So the way that Virgin does it is very different than other cruise ships. You have, instead of a buffet, you have the galley. So right here we have the Thai curry ramen. It's pretty good. And here you can get some noodles throughout the day, like I said. And right now you can see here's some fresh ramen, hot off the press. Check that out. Well, that looks pretty good. So, and around over here, like I said, at hot off the press, you have some sandwiches that you can get, hot and cold sandwiches throughout the day. And basically the way that it works is that you sit down at the table, server will come up to you and ask you what you want. They're going to prepare your order and bring it out to you. And then over here we have some drinks, Coca-Cola products, but you also have like Fanta, ginger ale, and also juices. And this is all included. It doesn't cost you extra. Pretty much the only thing that costs you extra is alcohol. So around here, around the corner is Let's Talk About It. This is the taco place. And here during the day you can get 3 different types of taco. You got the Virgin Snapper tacos, tacos al pastor, and avocado tacos. And then right over here they have some popsicles, which are actually pretty good. Oh, look, they got those ones again that we liked. Yeah, it's a pineapple thyme, which that I'm not into, but pineapple, guava, mango, those I'm into. Guava, piña, and they're pretty good. But this area is open throughout the day. This is the 24-hour diner, so you can get breakfast all day, every day, anytime. It's one of the only places that's actually open 24 hours. So here you can see the all-day breakfast menu. You can build your own omelet, order eggs. And then right over here we have actually where you can get some wine and some beers and stuff all throughout the day. You just scan your room key, which is around your wrist. And like right here, you can see this one has Heineken. It's $5 a pour. Over here we have some wines. And then this one we have Heineken as well, also $5 a pour. And then the wines are $7 a pour. And yeah, this is their second ship. Oh, look, they got a shrimp pie. Oh no, it's like a shrimp pot pie there. Yeah, I don't know, it's some kind of pastry. I hope that is good. And what is that? That looks delicious. So, yeah, they have fresh pastries and fresh bread. I love their focaccia bread throughout the day. And then also here are some of their desserts. Like yesterday, they had Halloween-themed desserts because it was Halloween yesterday. But today they just have these like regular desserts and fruits. It's all really good, and it's available at various times. And right around the corner here, you're going to have the daily mix. So here they have like fresh salads throughout the day and also usually a soup of the day. And today's soup of the day is a potato and leek soup. But you can get all kinds of salads made here, freshly prepared with different types of protein available. So if you're into salads, which I'm not usually when I'm on a ship, but that's the nice thing about Virgin is that it's a much healthier options. Where a lot of the options available on cruise ships are just not that healthy, Virgin has more of a healthy outlook throughout the entire ship. So like I said, instead of having a buffet, you have the galley, which is open at various times throughout the day. Right here we have the Grounds Club 2. This is one of 2 specialty coffee shops, which you can get all kinds of coffee available here, like a mocha or a latte or whatever you want, exactly like from a Starbucks. But it is going to cost you extra. It's the only thing that's going to cost you extra besides alcohol. And a few of the items on their menu do cost extra as well when you go to their specialty restaurants. So right here you can see the full menu. You can also add shots of like Kahlua or Bailey's to each one of your coffees depending on what you want. But you see there's also some Jameson, Maker's Mark, some whiskey and stuff there in the background. But like I said, all of that does cost extra. It's not included, but basic coffee and basic teas are included. And then over here right now it's not open, but they'll have these takeaway containers that are just really really good. Like sometimes you'll have a little reusable takeaway container that'll have like tres leches or something, and you can just grab it and go. They'll also have like charcuterie boards and stuff like throughout the day, but right now it's not open. I'm not exactly sure why. But here's the whole galley. You can see here like everything that we walk through. You can all see up at the top there is Gun Bay, and then that's the burger bar and where I got all those sweets at. Gun Bay is their Korean barbecue. We didn't go in there, but it's kind of like a Japanese hibachi, but a little different. I don't want to spoil the surprise though, but if you are coming on a Virgin Voyages ship, you have to be a little more adventurous than most people because you're going to want to try everything. And when you get to try everything, everything's really good. But Virgin Voyages is very different than other cruise lines. So if you're looking for something a little different, it's the way to go. But pretty much everything's included except for your alcohol. And like I just showed you, some of those specialty coffees. But regular coffee's included just like most ships. And another thing that's going to be different than other ships is basic Wi-Fi is included, and all your tips and gratuities are included. Now, of course, you can tip extra if you get great service and you're like, hey, I want to recognize this person. But always be sure to note anyone's name that does give you excellent service, because they're going to send you a survey at the end of the cruise, and you want to mention those specific crew members in that survey. So over here you see there's again another place you can get soda. This is included. Doesn't cost you extra like most cruise lines. Soda, it's like I know on Carnival they make you pay like by the ounce for soda. It's crazy. So right now we're having them whip us up 2 mochas. And part of their loyalty program includes up to $10 per day per cabin for coffee. So Chrissy and I usually get each a mocha each day that we remember to come up and get it. And if not, you guys may have seen that we had some bangs in our fridge when I did a tour of our room. We were able to get those because we arrived early to the port, and they'll have a bus that's running from Bayside, which there's a Target within walking distance, and it's free. It's all included. So if you do show up to the port and you don't want to just sit around, you can hop into that shuttle. It'll take you over to Bayside, and there's a Target there, and you can like pick up bangs. You can pick up 2 bottles of wine that you can bring on board, and it's all free. It doesn't cost you any extra. Like most places, you'd be able to drop off your luggage, but then you're going to have to like pay for an Uber to go somewhere else. That's one real nice thing. You can drop off the luggage. We were there at like 11:30 in the morning, dropped off our luggage, did an early check-in, right? And then we hopped on the shuttle, went over to Target, got some bangs and some wine, and then we brought them back with us to the ship. That's something that's not really offered by other cruise lines. They're usually nickel and diming you to death. They're going to actually take you somewhere, and you can probably pick up some of those last-minute items you might have forgotten. So over here you have one of many of the gyms they have. They have 2 main gyms, and then each of those gyms are these little rooms. Like the room in here is set up for spin classes, and that's right over here. You can see all these are set up for spin classes. And then, of course, in the main gym area here, you've got rowers, you've got ellipticals, treadmills, pretty much all the cardio equipment that you're ever going to need. And then in the other gym, which I'll show you guys in a minute. So like I was saying, the foods are healthier than most, cruise fare. But not just that, they also have like gym classes going on throughout the whole cruise. And if you are interested in that, be sure to book it as soon as possible. But also understand that if you do end up not going to the class and you booked up, they are going to charge you like a cancellation fee, which is $10 per person, but that does get donated. So here's another one of their multi-use rooms. This, like, they do a bouncy thing in this room where, like, you're hooked up to these swings and stuff. I don't know. I haven't done it. But this is also where you're going to do like your resistant weight training and stuff in this room. So this is the other side of that gym that I mentioned earlier. So more of your weight resistance and stuff like that. And of course, you do have the balancer, which is like, so one of the things about Virgin is they don't have a traditional cruise director. They have what's called the happenings cast, and the balancer is part of the happenings cast. So he or she is going to be like in charge of providing you these classes throughout the cruise that are like working out or weight training and stuff like that. You see there's still some of the Halloween directions up here, but some of the included classes are like there's an 80s VHS class, there's a shake weight class. They're really fun, so check them out. As soon as you get on board, though, if you're interested in those, you need to book them. As soon as you're able to get on the Wi-Fi, you can start booking them. And I have a tip for you guys if you stick around about how to get on the cruise as soon as possible. It doesn't even matter what time your check-in is. At least for now, you'll be able to get on the cruise like as soon as possible. So this is like the main Lido deck, right? So on most cruise ships, you're going to have a Lido deck. There's usually the buffets located on the Lido deck. It has all your outdoor areas, like your main pools and stuff like that. So this is the main Lido deck. And then above it, of course, there's going to be more of the Lido deck kind of open and available. You have plenty of places to sit. They have these little beds around the pool. It's all really, really nice, and I've yet to not be able to find a place by the side of the pool throughout the entire day. But most of the cruises we've been on haven't been at full capacity. Like I think the one that had the most was about 2/3 full. Yeah, our last two cruises, this one on Valiant and the one 2 weeks ago on the Scarlet Lady, both had about 1,700 people, and the maximum capacity of the ship is 2,700. So I am curious to see how they adapt as they get more and more people on board these ships, because the first time we went on it back in May, there was like 600 people on board, which made for a really amazing experience. So right now we're in Roatan, Honduras, and one of the things that a lot of people bring up is the price of these cruises. Now, we've been on a lot of cruises. We've been on Carnival, we've been on Royal, we've been on Disney, and actually the price of this cruise is pretty much comparable to the price of other Carnival cruises on their higher end ships. Like when we were on the Mardi Gras for a week-long cruise, it actually cost us more for a balcony on the Mardi Gras than it did on this cruise. And we're not even factoring in the fact that we didn't pay for Wi-Fi and we didn't pay for gratuities. You add that in, it's almost double the price for us to go on a Carnival cruise on one of their new ships compared to going on a balcony on Virgin Voyages. And remember, it's adults only, though. So if you have kids, you're not going to be able to bring them. Now, right here is one of two places you can smoke on the cruise ship. So this is deck 15 on the starboard side, and then you also have on deck 6, there's a smoking room that's just forward of the casino. You can't smoke in the actual casino. And right here is Richard's rooftop. You can only have access to this if you're a rock star or mega rock star. If you're just a regular person like us, even though we have been on several cruises and now we're part of their loyalty program, which again is amazing. It's better than most cruise lines. Like actually, I think it's better than all other cruise lines. But yeah, this is reserved just for rock star. Although if you find someone who is a rock star, they can sometimes get permission to like bring you back there and show you around. So now we're going to go through the belly of the ship here. And again, we're on deck 15. There's a total of 17 decks on this ship. One of the things I really like about this ship compared to like Carnival's latest ships, the Mardi Gras class of ships, those are built for capacity. They're built to have 6,000 people on board, where these ships are built to have 2,700 people on board, and they're still very large ships. Carnival keeps building new ships in order to get more and more people packed into one ship, where this is a more expanded out. So right here is a poke bowl shop. We actually haven't eaten here yet. We usually miss it, and we kind of forget that it exists. I would love it, but Chrissy's not really going to care much for the poke bowls. Like you have a spiced chicken, tuna and an Arctic char, right? You see here. So it's like jasmine rice, avocado, black or white rice, wasabi, stuff like that. So if you're into poke bowls, don't forget about it on deck 16. And you can see there's a lot of open space here on the deck. Right now, like I said, we're in Roatan, Honduras. We're pulled in for, I think, a good like 11 hours we were in port today. We were supposed to go to Costa Maya tomorrow, but because of Hurricane Lisa, we are going to go to Cozumel now. So that should be fine. We've been to Cozumel a bunch, so we may or may not get off the ship. We'll see. But our last day is going to be in Bimini in the Bahamas and then back to Miami. This is a 6-day cruise for us. It's their mermaiden voyage. And for just the two of us for a balcony, it cost about $1,800. Remember, that includes your tips, your gratuities, and Wi-Fi. And pretty much everything's included except for your alcoholic drinks and some of those coffees I showed you guys earlier. There are also going to be some events happening throughout the cruise that are going to cost a little bit extra. Like there is one of the events that I did was Eat, Plate, Snap. It's basically a brunch that includes bottomless bubbles, so you get to drink as much champagne during this as you want. I got a little bit twisted in like the hour because they just kept popping bottles open. It was great. And then also we took pictures of our brunch plates that we actually got to put together ourselves. So it was really interesting, really neat. It's hosted by the foodie. And then we saw, while we're there, one of our good friends, Ryan, who we met on a previous cruise, and Joel, who was also on a previous cruise. My wife jumped in the pool with them on Scarlet Night. He's awesome. We love them both. Shout out to Ryan and Joel. So, yeah, we aren't going to spend much extra money on this cruise because everything's already included. Neither of us are real big drinkers, but they did start something this cruise that we're going to maybe try, and that's they have 7 specialty drinks from 7 different bars throughout the ship. And if you go to each one and get one of these drinks, they'll stamp this little map that they give us. It's like a scavenger hunt, so it's fun. You get that little bit of dopamine and go and get some drinks. So that's probably something we'll try out this time or maybe next time if it's still open, hopefully. But right over here, you can see there's this little sloth place you can go to. So if you go to Roatan and you end up at this port, this is Coxon Hole. Right there is a sloth preserve, like a little zoo, and it's only $10 a person. So you walk over there and you just let them know you want to check out the zoo, just the birds, the monkeys, and the sloths. $10 a person. I think the cruise line charges you like $70 a person. So if you're adventurous enough to just like walk a half a mile, and you're probably going to have a local like stick with you and like quote unquote be your guide, which is fine, no big deal. Toss them a few bucks and it's still going to be substantially cheaper than if you went with the cruise line or like a third party. So up here, you're going to see there's some more like outdoor workout gear and stuff. Like there's a punching bag. I think I've seen a speed bag here before. You can take the bag down and box your best friend if you want to. And there's still some more equipment here. And then also right above, you can see there's kind of, I don't think you can really tell, there's a track for running and walking around the track if you are into that kind of thing. One of the things that we really like about Virgin is how well they take care of their crew members. Their crew members are pretty much treated almost just like we are as sailors because they actually get to go to the restaurants and eat food just like we do. So they have their own favorite restaurants. They have their own places they like to go. And you can interact with them and talk with them and make friends with them. And if you want to ask them, hey, what do you think's the best place to eat? Or what's your favorite meal from this restaurant or that restaurant? And they're going to let you know. They're encouraged to interact with us and to have fun with us. And we've even heard that there's secret parties that they throw, but we haven't been invited back to one yet. Well, there was the time we were allowed to, go. There was the one time after NSA, which is No Strings Attached, a show hosted by Dr. A, which is one of the Happenings cast personalities. You're going to have a Dr. A on every ship, and they change. So it might be Dr. Alex, might be Dr. Anna. It all depends on who's on the ship at any given time. And if you do, like, if you want to book NSA again as soon as you get on board the ship, because it's one of those things that sells out every time. So as soon as you get on the ship, you want to book your food, your shows, and things like NSA, or if you want to do like Eat, Snap, Plate, or the other thing that sells out really fast are some of the workout classes. So as soon as you're on board, as what we like to do is we get on the ship, we drop all of our stuff off in our room, usually just our carry-on stuff, and then we go straight to the galley. We order us some food because the galley is going to get packed as soon as people start getting on board because they're going to be hungry. It's like 2:30, and nobody's eaten lunch yet, and we're all a little cranky from the boarding process. So we're all going to the galley, and it's going to get packed there. So go straight to the galley, hook your phone to the Wi-Fi, and start booking your dinners, start booking all the different things that you're going to want to do throughout the cruise. So look through all the entertainment and stuff if you haven't already. We'll even go so far as to, like, write it all down beforehand and figure out, what exactly we want to go to and where we want to go to. So move along on the ship. Right here, we're in the back of the ship. And over here is this really, really cool, like, net thing that is overhanging the water about we're on deck 15, so about 15 to 10 decks below. So you'll have the deck is over part of it, and then you'll have just like the water below it. It's right here. This is the triple net, I believe it's called. So no shoes. There's a maximum of 8 people allowed on board, and right now it's closed off. But check it out. It's a deep fall. So if you're scared of heights, like my dad, you won't go on this. We actually paid for my parents to go on the Scarlet Lady a few weeks ago with us, and we had such a great time with it. My dad's super conservative. He's a nurse. He's getting up there in age, and he's pretty set in his ways. And we were a little worried about him being on the ship because it's very inclusive, it's very alternative, and it's very liberal. But I'll tell you what, my dad still had a great time. He still booked 2 more cruises for him and my mom. They loved the food, loved the entertainment, and they're going to go on 2 more cruises without us, and all we did was just bring them on board because we wanted to thank them for all that they do for us. Every time we go on a cruise, they usually watch our animals for us, our dogs and stuff. So we just kind of wanted to thank them and take them on a cruise that they wouldn't have picked to go on otherwise. But my mom loved it. She loved the food. My wife even made a comment about how my mom barely eats. We've never seen her eat anything more than like a teaspoon of food. And we saw her eat more food than we've ever seen her eat on Virgin. And both my mom and my wife are very picky eaters. So even them, with how picky they are, they were able to find something to eat. So don't worry if you're like a picky eater and you think that there's not going to be anything on this cruise, because there's not a variety of things. There is a big variety of things. I'd say just, though, after like probably your 3rd or 4th cruise on Virgin, you might be like, it's getting a little, I'm eating a lot of the same stuff. But it's all good. It's not terrible for you like most cruises. The biggest thing is you got to, like, control yourself with how much you eat, because there is just so much good food available throughout the days. So right below here, these little white things down below, these are little cabanas you can rent. Of course, we're on the track here. This is on deck 16, I believe. And then that lights up at night, the big Virgin logo. It looks amazing at night. So you can walk around and enjoy yourself throughout the day. So one of the things I mentioned earlier is their loyalty program. It's pretty new. It's called the Sailor Club, or the Sailing Club. And right now, during 2022, if you've already sailed with them twice, you'll have access to these Deep Blue Extras, which include their premium Wi-Fi, which, like I said, basic Wi-Fi is included, but premium Wi-Fi does cost more. It's like $10 per person per day. And then I think they usually drop one day. So if, like, you're on a six-day cruise, it's like $60. So that is included with these Deep Blue Extras for this year, which you can get if you are high level on another cruise line. So, like, if you're on Disney, if you're silver, if you're platinum or diamond on, like, Carnival and Royal, they'll match you and give you these access to this program without ever even being on their ship the first time. So just all you have to do is contact them. There's like a website you go to, and they'll give you all these extras. So another thing it includes is a laundry bag, one free laundry bag that they'll clean throughout the cruise. So it's like $30 normally, and it comes back the next day. So you need to remember, like, 2 days before the end of the cruise to do that. Otherwise, you're going to have to pay for their expedited fee, which is another $20. So basically, if you wanted a whole laundry bag of clothes done that day, it cost you $50. Otherwise, if you can wait till the next day, it'd be $30. And it's a pretty good deal. We do it now on every cruise that we go on with them. About halfway or, near the end of the cruise, we'll basically give them our laundry and be like, hey, wash all of our dirty clothes. And then when we get home, we don't have to really deal with a bunch of dirty clothes. And also, if I've been eating too much throughout the cruise, I'll be able to wear some of more. I can wear some of more my comfortable clothes rather than like the more tight-fitting clothes. So, as the cruise goes along, it's this weird thing that happens where you start to get bigger and bigger throughout the cruises. So I always have to remember, to pack slightly bigger clothes for the end of the cruise, and sometimes I forget about that. So one of the questions I got asked while I was live was, do I ever get lost on the ship? And no, there's basically two main areas to the ship. There's the upper decks, which include like the Lido decks and the galley, and then there's the lower decks, which are like the middle of the ship, deck 5, 6, and 7. So the upper decks are deck 15, 16, 17, and then the rest of the ship is basically located on deck 5, 6, and 7. And everything in between is like crew and cabins for the sailors, right? So it's pretty easy to navigate. It's not very difficult. So now we're going to go into the ship, like I was talking about, into those lower decks on 5, 6, and 7. We're going to hop on the elevator here and glide on down to deck 5. The elevators are a little bit different than most ships' elevators because they actually have a giant screen on the inside. So right now, both the Virgin Voyages ships, the Scarlet Lady and the Valiant Lady, are home porting out of Miami and doing these Caribbean runs. But when it gets springtime, the Valiant will go back to Barcelona, Spain, where it does its Caribbean or its Mediterranean cruises, and then it'll come back here for the winter. They have 2 more ships coming out, the Resilient Lady and the Brilliant Lady. And the Resilient Lady we should see starting up sometime next year. But here you can see, like we came in today in Roatan at 11 a.m. and we're here till 8:30 p.m. But this is the elevator. It's kind of got like this party vibe going on to it. It's pretty fun. Although they do get pretty hot because there is that screen. This right here is the Wake, which is their steakhouse. So you'll come in on deck 7. There is a way to come in on deck 6, but if you're coming for dinner, you want to come in on deck 7. You talk to the lady at the podium, and you have a reservation. They're going to walk you down to your table. So it's a really elegant restaurant. And one of the nice things is there is no like required wear. You can go in there in flip-flops if you want. I think the only thing they ask is don't show up in swimwear, like wet swimwear. This right here is the dock house. It is, you can see here's the menu. So it's the dock house. They have these kind of like appetizer type foods. You can get that throughout the day. One of the other places you can go to when you get on the ship is the dock house instead of going to the galley. But you put this little flag up and then they'll come serve you. The hanger steak's good. If you're into octopus, it's good. But I don't really like it. So never mind. Just go there if you want to try some finger kind of foods. So you have the dock house, and then actually around the corner here you have the dock, which is part of the dock house. It's just located outside. Here's the bar at the dock house. You can get one of those drinks I was talking about earlier from here. That's part of like their scavenger hunt. And if you do the scavenger hunt, you go and get all 7 drinks. They'll actually put you in a raffle for a free cruise at the end of the cruise. So right out here is the dock. Like I said, it's part of the dock house. And then over to our right here is also a bunch of the lifeboats over here. But again, we're in Roatan, beautiful, overlooking. They're building up this port still, so you can see this is a lot of the area they've already filled in, and they're going to start adding more shops and stuff and other piers to here at Roatan. There's two main ports in Roatan. There's Coxon Hole, and the other is Amber Cove. But you can see, like, almost all of the exterior rooms have a hammock. There are a few that don't. I don't know which ones they are, so don't, like, try to ask me. So my wife informs me that it's the front of the ship. Those that are on the front can't have one. So if you do book a room, be sure to avoid the ones in the front of the ship if you're looking to get a hammock. So here's more of the dock. Out here, they'll have stargazing some nights where they'll come out and they'll tell stories about the stars and stuff, and, like, the different things that they used to mean back in the day. And also, like I said, you can get food out here. They'll come out and they'll serve you. You can sit around and lounge. It's real nice as long as there's, a nice breeze and it's not raining. If it's raining, it can, They do have live music out here sometimes, and also in the dock house. That's another thing they'll have at various times throughout the ship. They'll either have, like, a DJ up on the top deck, or they'll have live bands and stuff, or even one-man bands playing music throughout the ship in different places. So be sure to check the app, to see where you want to go and what you want to see throughout the day. And also, if you're new to Virgin Voyages, you should know about Scarlet Night. So one of the things about Scarlet Night that most people don't know about, who don't know anything about Virgin, is that you're probably going to want to wear red. So be sure to bring an outfit that is red for Scarlet Night. And what Scarlet Night is, I don't want to ruin it too much, but they transform the ship. They're going to tell you the story. And it's a really fun time. I don't want to ruin it. Just know you want to wear red on Scarlet Night. So here out on the deck, here by the lifeboats, you can see we got some more seating. Way up ahead is the pizza place, so we're going to zoom our way up there. So this right here is some outdoor seating for the pizza place. And the pizza, it isn't available 24 hours like some places. It has hours just like most places nowadays. Aren't serving 24-hour pizza. Pizza is really good. It's top-notch. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to show you guys the menu. You have a couple different choices, and basically that's it. So you have like a margarita pizza. You have Pretty Fly for a white pie, which is Chrissy's favorite. I'll get either the chicken pesto or just a pepperoni. There's a white truffle and egg and a vegan. So the classics like your margarita, and then your Pretty Fly for a white pie is like just a cheese pizza. But they includes a ricotta that is just mwah, to die for. So that's the pizza place. We're going to move along to the ice cream place. Now, if you haven't heard about the ice cream place and you're a little bit squeamish, you're not going to like the name, because it's Lick Me Till Ice Cream. That is the name of the ice cream place. And you have different options. You have cones and you have bowls. So be sure to lick those bowls clean at Lick Me Till Ice Cream. This isn't your soft serve, okay? This is a high-end, like, gelato ice cream. You have choices of different types of cones, not just like regular vanilla. You have vanilla, you have strawberry, you have chocolate. So this isn't, the soft serve on Carnival that isn't even 24 hours now. This is a really, like, top-notch ice cream place. So check it out at least once throughout the cruise. And again, it's not available all the time. You have to check your app to see like what things are open at any given time, because their hours do vary, and there's no way to like peg it down and say, oh well, like the galley's open from this to this. Like each one of the restaurants closes like at different times. So just check your app. The other nice thing I wanted to talk about was the room service. So the room service is the best room service I've ever had on land or sea. It's an experience all on its own, and it only costs $5. And there's a way to make it where it doesn't even cost $5. You just order something that's $5 or more. Like we'll get a Red Bull, and here's a little model of the Valiant Lady. I wish I could get like one or two of these, but you know, I'm sure it's super expensive. But you can see here, like when it was built, it was actually launched last July. It can carry 2,770 passengers and 1,146 crew. But like I was saying about the room service, so if you just get like a $5 thing, like a Heineken or even a Red Bull, and that's all your charge. You don't have to spend that like $5 delivery charge. You just have to spend at least $5. So either like on a beer or a drink or something. And another thing, what you do is you order like soda. So we'll get like 5 or 6 sodas and then stock those in our fridge, and that's free. It doesn't cost extra. You'll get cans along with everything, and everything's going to come in these bags. And so instead of like carrying an awkward tray, you have these bags of food. I think I did a video about it, so I'll try to link that below for you guys to check out the video of how the room service works. It is way better than any other way that we've ever experienced. So right here, if like you want to book another cruise, here's where you do your future voyage and like book your next cruises. Right now they have a deal going on. If you book on the cruise, you get $300 off and an extra $600 of onboard credit, which I think if I'm not buying a bunch of merchandise, I would probably struggle to spend that $600. But, you know, we'd probably get like spa treatments, and then like down below on deck 6, which I think we're going to go down there. You have like, there's a place you can get shaving done. You know, if you're a man, you know, you get your beard taken care of. Or if you're a woman, of course, they have a salon. You can go down there and get the salon done. Right here is one of their like fancy areas. Sometimes they hold little classes in here. I think Dr. A has a class that costs $35. But here's the bar. It's usually open in the evening. So right now it's during the day and it's closed. And then up ahead is the Red Room. So the Red Room is like their main stage. Their main entertainment happens in the Red Room. And it's a multi-purpose room. Every time you go there for entertainment, it's going to look a little different. For the Untitled Dance Show party thing, it's just a big open area. So there's no seating. It's all just an open area for dancing. Right now they're doing a lot of filming. So we're going to pop in. We're going to check out what's going on. They're filming. They have a mermaid competition going on during this cruise as part of the mermaiding cruise, which the mermaiding cruise just means it's the first cruise out of Miami, which is the home port for this ship. But it's first cruise out of Miami. It started in Barcelona, Spain, and this is actually the first cruise coming out. And you can see they've got professional cameras, professional equipment. So we'll probably see this come out later on because they do have a full crew, like an ABC crew, working all the time to document this mermaid pageant. And then on Friday, when we're in Bimini, Bahamas, they're going to be doing this mermaid competition, like where they have over 500 people dressed up as mermaids. And they're going for the Guinness World Record of like mermaids at any given time. So that'll be really cool to check out. But right now it's just the competition, or like they have pageants throughout it. It's like this whole mermaid thing that I never even realized existed. It's really cool. This lady was awesome. She told us all about it and was like explaining what's going on. But we're going to continue on here. Since this is their mermaiden cruise for the ship, actually Sir Richard Branson's on the ship with us right now. I haven't got to see him yet, but I've heard people are just running into him like throughout the ship. So another thing I wanted to show you guys is on this is right here is a coded message. So these are all signal flags. They mean A through Z. And each floor will have 2 of these. Or no, I think it's 1 of these on each floor. And that's the cipher, and you can figure out what each one says. I only figured out what 2 of them said, and one of them was, "What shall we do with the drunken sailor?" Which I thought was pretty cool. It's a little Easter egg hidden throughout the ship. Right over here in these rooms, this is called the groupie, which kind of looks like, I don't know, a swingers club. But in each one of these rooms is karaoke. So you can book these rooms out, and you and however many friends you have, they have one that'll take up to 10 people. Like this one right here, though, is like 4 to 6 people, and it's a Japanese style karaoke, so it's not like that big, a big open room with a bunch of people. Although they have that throughout the cruise, they're gonna have like karaoke randomly in the social club, which we get to at the end of here. But you can book these throughout the cruise, and like here, this is the purple room. It has an 8 to 10 person capacity. It's a massive room, so you and your best buds can do some karaoke and have a good time and drink and party. And you don't have to like be out in the ship partying if you don't want to. If you want to have a more intimate karaoke session, you can do it right here with you and your friends. So I checked. No, that's not a karaoke room. But here's the blue room, which is another one of the karaoke rooms. The door's locked though, so I can't show it to you guys. There's the other side of the red room. The red room is actually consists of 2 floors on deck 6 and deck 7. Deck 7, you kind of have like a top-down view. So depending on what show's going on, and if you don't want to be like in the middle of all the action, you can go up on deck 7. But sometimes, like with Branson on board, it was like for VIPs, so we couldn't actually go down there. So we're going to walk down onto deck 6. So we started out deck 7. And like I said, in the middle of the ship here, the main areas are on the top. In the middle, on here, deck 5, 6, and there go some of the mermaids that are mer people that are competing in the competition. Here's another one of those decode or coded messages with the signal flags. I'm not sure what that one says. So around here is a conference area. So you have like a conference room and like projectors and stuff. So if you can actually book these if you're like doing a working cruise, and then like you can have a business pay for all this as long as you're working throughout the cruise, and like there's a reason to be on the cruise and working. You can, look, there's some like dead people sitting here, hanging out, some dead pirates, because it was Halloween. But as long as you're like, it's a working cruise for you, you can actually write it off in your taxes. It's the Den. That's the name of this area. But it's a whole little conference area. There's the back door to the manor. So the manor is another 2-story like multi-use facility. You'll have shows there. Some of the Happenings cruise will host shows there. Like the hostess has a couple shows there. So here's the casino. And this is how you can get to the manor. So the casino here, it's not in operation right now, but if it was in operation, they wouldn't allow me to film. But because it's not in operation, you're allowed to film. But when you're in port, they close the casino down. So no gambling when you're in port most of the time, but they have tables, they have slots, they have a bar. There's no smoking. You got your roulette, you got craps and all that. Giant screen here, which they'll have the game sometimes playing. Like if there's an important game going on, they'll be playing it. This is the manor right here, and we're going to go in here. I'm going to show it to you guys. This is like the Instagram iconic mirror and lights area. It's so cool. Definitely experience all to itself. And you can come in here throughout the day. Like even when the manor's not open, they'll let you come into this area right here, and they don't care. You can take pictures and videos and all that stuff. But when you pop your head in here, there's likely going to be a guy that's going to tell you can't be in here. Like this guy, he says, no, you can't be here. GTFO, we're setting up. But we don't care if you're out in the hallway, just not in this area because we're setting up for the next show. I think the hostess was going to have a show next in there. But it's a super cool area. Check it out if you're on board, of course. And then around here is the other side, and that's where the bar is and stuff. He's going to come back and tell me that he didn't want me to have a negative experience because he told me to basically to leave. But it's fine. I understood exactly why he told me to, because they're trying to get set up. They're not trying to have people running throughout the ship while they're trying to get set up in the manor. And the manor's 2 stories, so that's the ground floor. There's a top floor on deck 7. So depending on what the show is going on, we always like to be on the bottom floor. We like to get sat as close as we can. When there's a show going on, you want to show up at least 15 minutes before the show, sometimes 20, 30 minutes before the show, depending on how it's booked, because you have some shows that are ticketed and some that are unticketed. So you want to be sure you show up early. And if it is a ticketed show and you weren't able to book it, they usually have a standby line, so you can check that out. You know, you can still try to go see it. Just you have to get to that standby line as soon as possible. So they call this the roundabout. It goes up from deck 6 up to deck 7. And so you can see that little red line right there. This is, instead of having an atrium, you have the roundabout, but that red line actually signifies north. So that's a little Easter egg that not everybody knows about in the roundabout, is that it's actually a compass showing you where north is at any time. So this is another one of the bars here on the 6th deck. They'll have live music throughout the cruise here, usually in the evening, in the later hours. And then, of course, the bar will be open. You can get your booze on right here from the bar. Go say hi to our friend Yvonne. He was pretty cool. Unfortunately, there's no drink package with Virgin. You can purchase what they call a bar tab, and a lot of times they'll have a deal going on where they'll either like add an extra $100 or add $50 to your bar tab, or even double it, or whatever's going on that week. So look out for those specials if you're a big drinker, because you can go through a $600 bar tab pretty quick if you're a big drinker. The rest of this area is called High Street. So this is where they have like all of the shops to buy stuff. Right there it says Dry Dock. That's where the ladies can go and get their salon stuff done. Over here to the left just a little bit is Beard and Stubble, which it's pretty self-explanatory, or Stubble and Groom. You can get, your beard done. Here's some more makeup and stuff like that. And then there's an alcohol place. You can buy liquor, tax-free. And then over here is where you can get tattoos. It's the only place you can get that has a tattoo shop on board a cruise ship. And they only tattoo while we're at sea, which kind of seems a little oxymoronic because it's, real hard to draw a straight line at sea. But, hey, they do it every cruise, and it apparently sells out. So if you're into getting a tattoo on every cruise, you can get it right on board. I think they start at $250 though, so don't expect it to be a cheap tattoo. So this is some of the shops, some of like the high-end shops they have on the ship. And then they'll also have merchandise, like Virgin Voyages branded merchandise over here. Like that little purple bag you see there, I have one of those bags, and it's actually not extremely expensive. The bag I think was $12. And they have other bags that are like $30-$35. So it's not outrageously priced, not as much as I thought it'd be. And then right around over here, they have some like discounted stuff too. So all kinds of stuff to check out, to purchase while you're on board. So if you end up with like that $600 of onboard credit and you're not a big drinker and you're wondering, how am I going to spend all this money? Go check out the shops. I'm sure your wife or your significant other can help you figure out how to spend that money. I know I could. I want to get all their little die-cast ships, but they didn't have any of the ones that I wanted when I was here. So we're going to hopefully get one in December. So this is Extra Virgin. Right there, there's the sign for Extra Virgin. It's one of the specialty restaurants on board. So instead of traditional cruising where you have a main dining room and you go to the main dining room each night, you have all these specialty restaurants. I think there's 6 specialty restaurants. So on a normal like 5 or 6 day cruise, you'll struggle to hit all of them. And this is their Italian themed restaurant, which is amazing. It is a 4 or 5 course meal depending on how much food you want to eat. There's appetizers, there's pasta, there's a charcuterie board, there's your mains, and then you have a dessert, which we always get the bombolini, which is like this ricotta donut that is just amazing, and then the affogato, which is gelato with espresso poured over it and some toppings. So we love this restaurant. This is our favorite restaurant out of all of them on board. And on this cruise, we're actually going to go on it twice because we like it so much. So earlier I showed you guys the Wake. That's one of theirs. That's the steakhouse. Then you have Pink Agave. We'll show you Pink Agave. That's the Mexican-themed restaurant. So there's 6 total. There's Gun Bay. There's Pink Agave. There's the Wake. Razzle Dazzle, which is a vegan forward restaurant. We'll show you that. There's the die-cast model I was talking about. I want the one that doesn't say ahoy. It's just like the regular model of the ship. I have one of the Scarlet Lady. I want one of each of the ships as I go on them, but they were already sold out of that one. So I'm hoping next time we get on the ship, they'll have another one. So like I was saying, instead of having the main dining rooms, you have these specialty restaurants. They don't cost extra, although some of them, I think, the Razzle Dazzle and like the Wake have these like extra items you can purchase. Like there's a tomahawk steak, and there's it's like shrimp and lobster and octopus. You know, those things you can pay extra for, but of course you don't have to. So here's some more of those shops. These are like the high-end, like ladies shops, with the purses and the clothes and perfume and makeup and stuff like that. And then around the corner here, we're going to get to one of the other specialty restaurants, and that's called the Test Kitchen, which the Test Kitchen has a set menu. So they have two different menus. They alternate on the third day. They'll have their A or B menu, and on the third day, it's the B menu, which we couldn't figure out which day that was. So on this cruise, we actually didn't go. But here's today's menu. So the only choice you get here is venison or beef. Everything else is just going to be served to you. It's a 6-course meal, and you don't get any choices other than beef and venison. It's really good. I'm not even a fan of mushrooms, and the first dish is all mushrooms, and it was actually really, really good, and I don't even like mushrooms. But you can see here, it's definitely very different. You have the bar seating there for big people like me. And then you have some tables available. And then there's some booths, which if you're a big person like me, you're not really going to fit in the booths, which we found out when we were like, hey, can we sit at the booths? And it was like, you might struggle. And then I realized, I'm a little too big for their booths. You can see them right there. But it's a great restaurant. At least check it out once. Try their A menu, and then if you can get it again on the ship, try to do it with the B menu. We actually haven't been able to figure out when the B menu is, and we wanted to go to extra virgin twice anyways, so we were happy with that. But this is one of those 6 specialty restaurants. Oh, and Chrissy's been hiding these little octopuses, right? So we 3D printed these articulating arm octopuses and started hiding them throughout the ship. So there's these duck groups that people hide these rubber ducks. So since the octopus is like Virgin Voyages mascot, we made these octopuses, and we were giving them to some of the crew members too. They really, really appreciated it, and like it became this whole thing where like, oh, you're the guys that are giving away the octopuses. So I think it was like a badge of honor for the crew members if they got one from us. But here's some more of the shops here. So there's not a lot of differences between the Scarlet Lady and the Valiant Lady. They're pretty much the same exact ship. But this right here, this little store kiosk here isn't on the Scarlet Lady. So it's one of the few differences between the Scarlet Lady and the Valiant Lady. Another difference is in the Red Room, they actually have a bar set up on the Valiant Lady, but they don't have one on the Scarlet Lady. They'll have a bar there, but like it's built into it on the Valiant Lady, where like the Scarlet Lady, it's more like a kiosk. So I pretty much showed you guys most of everything on deck 6. So we're going to go down a floor to deck 5, and that's the last deck here on this tour. And down there, we're going to find just a few places on deck 5. You have sailor services. You have Pink Agave, which I mentioned earlier is their Mexican-themed restaurant. Here, Chrissy hid one of her ducks, and I just happened to find it. So there's Pink Agave, and then there's Razzle Dazzle, which I mentioned earlier. Also, it's their vegan-forward restaurant, which if you're not vegan, of course, don't be worried. They do have, like, regular dishes. They have a fried chicken there that's really good. If you go there for brunch, they have a fried chicken sandwich that's pretty good, although last time we went and had it, it was a little on the dry side. But right there, that was the salon, so if you're looking for the salon, it's on deck 5. Here's the sailor services that I mentioned earlier. A lot of times, though, you can just message them on the app, and you can get your problem solved. Here's the daily activities, which they don't give you these in your room, but they are placed throughout the ship. This is one of those places that you'll find them. Up here is Pink Agave, which, again, I mentioned earlier. but it's their Mexican themed restaurant. It does like the family style with like the small plates, the medium plates, the large plates, and then of course dessert. So like you share the small and medium plates, and then you get your own large plate. And it's all really good. Even Chrissy like found something on the menu she liked, which she's super picky. She doesn't even like black pepper because it burns her mouth. So like finding a good Mexican restaurant that doesn't spice up their food for her is usually a struggle. But she liked their shrimp here, and I loved all the food here. The corn, the guacamole is really good. The duck is good. Just everything I've eaten so far at that restaurant has just been amazing. So I highly recommend going to Pink Agave, especially if you end up on the Scarlet Lady, which only are 4 and 5 days. So if you're on one of those cruises, you're gonna be a little limited on which restaurants you can go to. If you're on the Valiant Lady, you have, of course, all 6 restaurants, and then there's a dinner show, which is called It's a Ship Show, which is a variety show that includes dinner. So not only do you have the 6 restaurants on a 6-day voyage, you also have the dinner show, as well as you probably want to do room service one night. So this is coming up here is Razzle Dazzle. Like I said, it's their vegan forward restaurant, but they still have regular, food there. One of their best things is actually their bacon. So if you either go there for brunch or for dinner, be sure to try their bacon. They also have milk that is infused with like Captain or not Captain Crunch, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So you have an option to get this infused milk that has like it's cereal infused. It's amazing. Every time we come here, Chrissy orders that milk along with the cookies. Although she got the cookies this time, they weren't up to her standards, but we think that had to do with the fact that this ship just came from Europe. And I'm thinking the stores that they brought from Europe were a little bit different than what our tastes are used to here in America. So maybe the flour was a little different or something. I don't know. All the cookies I tried seemed a little denser than I normally like my cookies. I like them a little fluffier, but it wasn't like game changing or anything. And we did notice that the food kind of changed throughout the cruise. So I think as they were working through all of their food stores and getting more towards the food we're used to on the Scarlet Lady, because they've used up all that stuff. Right here, Chrissy is dealing with one of the Easter eggs here, and that's the black balls and the mushroom tip. So yeah, check that out at Razzle Dazzle. There's also a secret menu at each one of the restaurants. So if you don't see anything on the menu that you like, ask them about their secret menu. Or if it's your second or third time on the cruise ship, ask them about their secret menu. I think there's a steak at Razzle Dazzle that's supposed to be really good. We're going to ask them next time about Razzle Dazzle and what their secret menus include. So that's pretty much the majority of the ship. There was one place that I forgot to get, or 2 places I forgot to show you guys. One of them is the other coffee place. That's Coffee Grounds 1, or the original Coffee Grounds. And then the Social Club. So, of course, Coffee Grounds is just like the other place we showed you up in the galley. This is just a coffee place located more centrally on the ship. And also there's the social room. I think it's the social room. And the social room includes food throughout the day too, so even more food. But we're going to show that to you guys. So this is the grounds club that I was talking about. That's the other coffee place. You can get coffee, and then of course they also have some like light snacks throughout the day. And then straight ahead here is the social club. But we're also going to point out one of the other differences between Scarlet Lady and Valiant Lady. So Scarlet Lady has these little swings here with these pictures behind them that are very like Instagrammable, like just beautiful pictures you can take with these things. They don't have them here on the Valiant Lady. They also used to have a photo booth on the Scarlet Lady, and they don't have that here on the Valiant Lady. And then they had this set up just for the Halloween cruise. So it was a pretty cool thing to have set up, but it's different than what you're going to find on the Scarlet Lady. And also the social club here, that's where you're going to find all these board games and stuff. You've got like Clue, you've got Joking Hazard, Cards Against Humanity, Life, Yahtzee, Settlers of Catan, Hungry Hungry Hippos, Candyland, whatever you're into, you can find these games during a certain time frame. And the gamer, which is one of those personalities, is going to have that set up. You can see that on the app. But you also have some food here. You'll have like hot pretzels, wings, and hot dogs throughout the day here, as well as all these delicious dessert like fudges and apples and brownies, and then the cake pops, which are pretty good if you're into cake pops. There's also another place around the corner here that I'm going to show you, and it's a vintage arcade. But here also in the social room is where you're going to have your sports at. This is set up a little bit differently than on Scarlet Lady. There's not that big skee ball table in the middle, but they do have the air hockey tables here. But back here in the corner is the vintage arcade, which is one of our favorite places to like pass the time if we've got nothing better to do. You got Street Fighter, you got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Pac-Man, Golden Tee. If you play that at the bar, you're going to love this vintage arcade. There's also the Daytona racing game, which you can do head-to-head racing. It's a lot of fun. And then this thing right here has a bunch of different games, including like Pac-Man. You saw Dig Dug there. You can select with the selector, but we couldn't figure out like how to change games, but so we just kind of gave up and moved on. But that's the vintage arcade. They have this on the Scarlet Lady and on the Valiant Lady, and it costs nothing. You don't pay for any of these games. There's Space Invaders, their original Mario Brothers, Donkey Kong Jr., I think it was, and then there's the Daytona game, which is busy most of the time. There's almost always somebody on this game because it's a lot of fun to play. And it is an older game, but it's been like updated. So there's like Golden Axe and Defender. Across the hall here, you have the Loose Cannon. It's another bar that's going to have those 7 items or those 7 drinks I was talking about. There's a foosball table. There's also a foosball table located outside, but I think it was broken. But yeah, that is pretty much the entire ship. It's been about an hour. We've gone through almost the entire thing with you guys. So please let me know if you have any questions about the Valiant Lady or the Scarlet Lady. If you're thinking about going on a cruise, and also be sure to follow us. We're going to be back on this ship in December. We like to go live on Facebook and TikTok. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. That's it. This is the whole thing. Oh, you can also get floats and shakes with, like, whiskey and alcohol in them. So that's another thing I forgot to mention that they have here in the social club, as well as all those different hot dogs. Like there's the original, the Reuben, the Philly, the vegan. They have a hot pretzel, and then buffalo chicken wings or plain chicken wings. Yeah, so that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. I know it's been a really long video, and like I said, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments. So see you guys next time.